I hope everyone's doing well. So, we're going to be handling objections. Anybody like to handle objections? I like that. No one likes to handle objections. You get it every day, one way or the other, don't you? So, just to let you know, so this is the last class for me. We have one more class, and that's going to be Brian. And he's going to be finishing it up, and then we'll have the singing next Wednesday. So thank you for your attention as we've gone through the class, and thank you for your participation. We all enjoy that. And so for tonight's class, we're going to really be focusing on sort of 5 questions that I sent out. I hope you had a chance to put some eyes on them. And we have a whole host of other questions that I have sort of that we can sort of roll through as well. Most of the class tonight will be just situations, and then just to get some input of how you would handle this objection. I would say just in general, when you're talking about handling objections, I don't know is an answer. I don't know. Let me get back with you. Also, as we've talked about, have a very reasonable attitude. Not I know everything, but, a reasonable attitude. So when we start talking about, handling objections, to have, a God-centered, a Christ-centered attitude about handling objections, and I don't know. With that being said, we will go to God in prayer, and then we'll start answering a few questions. How about that? Our gracious God, as we come to you, we're so thankful that you are there for us. You have your ears open and you listen to us, and we're so appreciative for that. We ask our Heavenly Father that as each and every day we see fit to somehow run into people that may create objections, that we will be very mindful of who they are. They are people that you created. There are souls that they have that you long for, and help us, our Heavenly Father, to handle those objections as you have handled objections with us. That we would have tender hearts and listening ears, and be understanding that everybody is on a journey, and help us just to be a part of that journey for each and every person to get to heaven. Take care of us, bless us, and forgive us, for it's in Christ's name. Amen. All right, so as we get going, but I'm a good person. Why do I need to be saved? Really, I am. I'm a pretty good person. And why do I need to be saved? So this is sort of our first question. So looking for a little bit of input here. What's our thoughts here? But I'm a good person. Do I really need to be saved? We got Terry up front here leading us off. But I'm a good person, so why do I really need to be saved?
Jesus said that he didn't come to heal the well, he came to heal the sick. And so when you describe yourself as a good person, then you don't need to be saved. Good people don't need to be saved. And that's what you got to point them to. You got to point them to the fact that they're not good people. There's only been one good person on the earth.
Oh, and it's not them.
And it's not them, and it's not me.
Oh.
It's not you, it's not Bobby.
It's not, wow.
And so
we're starting to cross off a lot of people now, aren't we, Terry?
Yeah, I mean, there's only been one.
You could have started with some other people, but,
Right. But
yes,
there's a guy, a street preacher online, Ray Comfort, and that's one of the things that he does, is he uses the 10 Commandments to convict people, to show them that they're not good people. And most of the time, he'll only go through 3, maybe 4 of the 10 Commandments.
Before they figure out.
Yeah, and then, so what he does is he kind of turns that back on themselves. He'll ask them, have you ever lied? And they'll admit, well, yeah, I've told white lies. And he goes, well, a white lie is still a lie, and what do you call someone who lies? And they'll say, a fibber. And he'll say, no, you call them a liar. So he kind of turns it, he asks them a lot of questions, and it's kind of neat to watch. It's some people are convicted by it. They really are, but some are not. So, yeah.
They leave deceived.
Yes, exactly.
We have Randy back here. Anyone else? as we get Randy a microphone.
Yeah, we can.
Ask them, well, how do you determine good? And how do you know you're good enough? And do you feel
Qualified to tell. Do you feel qualified to tell God that you're good enough?
So define good.
Yeah.
When you say, but I'm a good person, what does that mean?
God tells us God
What's good?
defines good.
Well, I mean, really, if you think about this, do I need to be saved? Well, no, I don't, because I'm a good person. So good really means perfect. Because if you don't need to be saved, then, I'm perfect. Well, it's just like you said, everybody has told a white lie, maybe a gray lie, maybe a black lie. Mr. Dave in the back.
Jesus put down requirements to be saved. If you don't do some of those, you're not going to be saved. It's one of them I like is Mark 16:16, where he said, "He that believeth and is baptized will be saved." If you don't do that, you're not going to be saved.
So it's pretty simple. You got to do what God says. You can't just be resting on your laurels that you're good. All right. Anyone else? So, but I'm a good person. So why do I need to be saved? Okay, we got Brian. So reluctant.
Yeah, it might be a good opportunity to transition into why Jesus died on the cross. If we're all just kind of generally good people, because most people, if a person claims they're a good person, probably most of the other people in their life, they would also think, hey, we're all kind of mostly good. Maybe the criminals in jail or whatever, maybe they're bad, but, maybe transition into asking them why they think Jesus had to die, because they maybe have never considered why he had to die. Yeah, and what sin really is, and how none of us are good, according to the scripture, Romans 3. So that might be a good way to transition.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because when you say I'm good, you always talk about the person that is not so good. You never say, oh, I'm not as good as that person down the street. You don't hear people compare themselves to people they intuitively know are better. And that's a good point what Brian said. So, I understand by good person, you probably mean compared to most people. But the Bible tells us that true goodness can only be measured in comparison to God and Jesus. And that's along of sort of what, Brian is saying. That means true goodness means a sinless perfection. And that's what I'm saying. When you say good and you don't need to be saved, then that means you have to be perfect. That's because you're already saved then. And do you consider yourself sinless or perfect? And that's what Romans 3 is. There is no righteous person, not even one. There is no one who understands. There is no one who seeks out God. They have all turned aside. Together they have become corrupt. There is no one who does good. There is not even one. So that's pretty much straightforward on that one. So, but I'm good I'm a good person and not to be saved. So this is something that you can sort of have in your mind if someone makes that comment. So next question. All right. How could a loving God send people to hell? How could that be? Isn't God love? God is love. We sing a song, right? And how can this God send somebody to hell? How is that possible? Any question or any answers on that one? Debbie.
I don't think God sends people to hell. I think people send people to hell. People send themselves to hell by not doing right.
They don't do what
God says.
God said to do. But surely God in his infinite love and compassion and grace, he's going to still do that if you don't do what he says. These are some of the objections that you might hear as you kind of go, as we're evangelizing. Oh, we have Bobby up front here, so it's going to be a PE credit for somebody here. Get a little exercise.
and I'll usually bring up the same point, but I'll transition from there and use the lifeboat analogy. You know, if God provided a way to not go to hell, he provided Jesus. And just like if you're stuck in the middle of the ocean and a lifeboat comes its way, that's the only way that you're going to be saved. It's the same way with Jesus in this case. So it's not necessarily that God's sending people, it's people choosing.
Yeah, to let the lifeboat go on by.
Exactly.
Okay, so we couple that. Oh, we got Carol in the back. really getting the P credit in tonight. Ding, 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 ding.
That loving God sent his son to die on the cross to save us all.
That's right. And that says a lot. That says a lot. And we have Ryan up here.
Just like parents have to do in life here, sometimes you have to let your children suffer for decisions that they've made if you're truly going to be a loving father, and that's what God is. God is our heavenly Father, and at the end of the day, yes, we've made decisions, and for him to truly be a loving God and a just God, as is stated in Scripture, some people, unfortunately, will need to go to hell if they don't follow his commands.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. We got another, looks like Brian. Here, go ahead.
Yeah, another kind of along similar lines. It's helpful to get people to appreciate that there's the love of God, but then there's also the justice that he needs to carry out. So maybe a good scenario would be, imagine if there was a judge whose son committed murder. That's a horrible dilemma because he loves his son. He doesn't want his son to be, either executed or sentenced to life in prison. And so maybe he does what he can to try to, stop that from happening, but there's only so much you can do, and his son made the decision, and if he's really going to be a judge and not removed from his position, right, he's got to carry out, justice, and God, of course, he sent Jesus to save us. He did have the power to do something there, but maybe that's a helpful way of thinking about it.
Yeah, and it's like you said, in this case, from God and Jesus' perspective, he's completely innocent, which is, even a harder pill to swallow from God's perspective. I think I put some of that about that. Another question that you talked about, I think Ryan talked about, is the justice. The question could be asked: how could a just God send people to heaven? Raise your hand if you think, I deserve heaven. You remember, I'm the good person. Remember the last question? I don't see anybody raising their hands. So really, I think you could kind of turn that on its side and say, but should God even allow people into heaven? We don't deserve it. It's only because Christ died. It's only because he sent him and he died. All right, question 3. I don't think it really matters what we believe, just as long as we're sincere. I mean, if we're sincere in what we believe, whatever that may be, I think that's what matters. Let's not worry about the details. Let's not worry about the facts. I just believe it, and I'm sincere. So, what's our thoughts there? If someone says that to you, how to handle that sort of objection? We got Terry up front.
I would ask, do you think Satan is sincere in his belief?
Who is that?
Satan.
Satan.
Yeah.
Is Satan sincere? That's a good question. Who thinks Satan is sincere in what he believes? Anybody? Just a show of hands. You think Satan's sincere? Is he out seeking who he wants to devour? Yeah. He wants to send everybody to. He wants as many people there. We got John here in the corner. Well, close to the corner. Yeah, sometimes that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
This is, maybe I'm a little confused with this, when we say, oh, we're sincere, and it doesn't matter what we believe. You hire an engineer to build something, he might be sincere thinking, well, yeah, I think it's going to work. I think the bridge might work. Well, did you follow the American standard testings of materials of concrete and steel? Well, no, not really, but I believe it might work. But I mean, at that point, you're banking on hope, and hope is a really bad planning tool, and you're going to fail.
Yes.
So what level of sincerity are you willing to bet your life on?
Yeah, bet your soul on. Is there somebody else that had their hand up? Maybe I just missed that. Yeah, so exactly. I mean, I think Satan's pretty sincere in what he wants to do, and you're exactly right. So when you get ready to get in your car and you're going to drive across the bridge, you better hope that the standards were met, because that's all you got. But just thinking, well, you know, I think I'll just do half of them for the bridge, and you better hope you're on the right lane or the right half of the correct half so the bridge doesn't fall down, right? So I don't think it matters what we believe as long as we're sincere. You know, you got to think about, the problem is all beliefs have consequences, right? No matter how sincere. Now, the people that did that when 9/11, were they sincere? Oh, I think they were very sincere. Quite sincere. These are the people that got into a plane knowing that they had a very, 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 very high chance that they would not come back, that they were going to die. They're going to take as many people with them, but they were very sincere. So sincerity is not a bad thing, but you don't need to put all your eggs in one basket. Okay. Number 4. Why does God allow so much evil in this world? Why does he do that? I thought God is love. God is good, isn't he? We have Randy up front. Why does God allow so much evil in the world?
Yeah, I think
The real question
is, how much evil
does he hold back from us, just like he held the waters back when they crossed the Red Sea? He holds a lot of evil.
for us to exist on this earth?
And I hope we can do something like this.
I don't know if that's an answer to the question, but yeah, I think a lot of people would agree. Yeah, so we're working on that. We have some sharp ID people working on that. Thank you. Yes, we have
So
Emery.
my thought on this one is that why does God allow so much evil in the world? He told us that he won't allow more evil than we can handle.
Mm-hmm.
So much like, you know, how do we get stronger? By exercising, being tested.
Mm-hmm.
So if we weren't being tested, how would we get stronger and be able to fend off the devil unless we become stronger with temptations and so forth? Not that, sometimes we're going to fail, but if we always get back up, then we are succeeding.
Yeah, we're getting stronger.
Yeah.
Very good. Herb and Carrie Ann. Herb and Carrie Ann.
Testing. There it is. This actually came from Micah. Micah, can you give the answer?
If you want. So if you think about it, people don't think about what it entails. It entails, excuse me, for you not to have free will. But also, the fact that so much evil can be allowed also means that there can be so much good in the world. So.
Yep.
And
very good.
And I think this was part of his answer earlier, that when you think about it, it's otherwise we would be robots, and nobody would have free will. So the only way you can have evil I mean, to have good is to be allowed to have evil, for us to get to choose.
Yes.
And I know that question really is asked a lot. I believe that it is, and it's a genuine question. I think people are, I hate to use the word, but they're sincere when they ask the question. But when you think about it, it means we don't get to choose, and we're all, I mean, I don't know that. So, anyway, that's my answer. Thank you, Mike. Very good, Mike.
Carrie Ann.
Yep. Yes, I definitely agree with that about the free will. And I think for me, when I see all of the evil going on in the world, it just makes me appreciate God and his goodness that much more. And so we're told through scripture that, all things in the world, declare his handiwork, and that all things work together for God's glory. And I think that when you see tragedies and things happen, it just, for one, makes me more appreciative of what I do have, and physically, and even more so spiritually, because I know what God has promised.
Yeah, do we have hurricanes in heaven? Do we have tornadoes? Is there flood? Is there devastating fire? No, we don't have that. Because this world is what? Cursed. If everything was perfect here and we were robots and stuff, would we want to go to heaven? We wouldn't know that. And I think one thing that I've often thought about sort of along this context is, so many people died in the hurricane. And that's bad. That's tragedy. No doubt about it. But what about all the people that didn't die? Everybody says, where was God when all these people died? He was at the same place with all the people that lived. So I think it's just people are looking for stuff too. So in order for God to respect our freedom to choose, he can't go interfering with people. Like if a criminal pulls the trigger, he goes, we got to stop the bullet. We got to defy gravity. The criminal doesn't have choice. Really? You think about it. They may do something, but the criminal activity does not come out. The good news is God has promised Jesus Christ to restore us back to him in heaven, where there will be no more suffering. There will be no more hurricanes, no more evil, and no more heartache. Next one. Sorry. I jumped the gun. I didn't.
That's fine. Just one more thing. I wonder if it's a way for God to kind of hold up a mirror to us and show us this is how bad sin is. This is what sin did to this world. For all those people out there who want to say, I'm a good person. It's like, well,
really?
If we're good, then we wouldn't be living in this sin-cursed situation. So maybe it's kind of a sobering, everyday reminder of how evil really is.
Good point. Moving on to the next question. I am so done being part of a church because there's so many hypocrites there. I'm over it. I'm done. I'm out of here. Ever heard that? I've heard it. Herb's heard it. He's even got his hand up. He's confirming it. Plus he wants a microphone. That works this time, I think. Mike, look.
Well, I want to give the right attribution on that. This came from Tim, but we've talked about this. And my answer now, based on having discussed this with Tim, is that my answer is yes, there are hypocrites in the church. In fact, I think we're all hypocrites in the church because we're all sinners. Now, we're not hypocrites by choice necessarily, but we're hypocrites in the sense that we're not perfect people. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what really they're saying. I'm guessing. I mean, you're the one that created this question. Well, you didn't create it. You're the one that brought this question to us. Sorry, my bad. So it seems like what they're really saying is, why are there so many people that make mistakes in the church that are sinners? And when you think about it, that's what the church is. It's Christ came for those who are sick. Sinners. Yeah. He didn't come for those who are well. Yeah. So, I mean, anyway, I've really never understood the question myself.
I think we have a hand. Megan, maybe she'll give you the answer.
No.
Pressure. No.
I don't know. I feel like I talk to my kids about this kind of thing a lot. Don't like to do that. But not talk to my kids, but.
Oh, wow.
Never mind.
The mic, I know. Go ahead. You're fine.
Just that, we're only in charge of ourselves. Oh, but she did this to me. Oh, but he did that. He said this, whatever the case might be. The only person you have any control over is your own self.
Yep.
And yeah,
that's it.
period.
I kind of wonder, my thought is, people come up with this because they don't want to go to church. This is an excuse. It's just, whether there may be hypocrites there, yes. There may not be hypocrites there, but you won't find me at that church with hypocrites. Got Rachel.
I just wanted to add on that something else that I've heard my dad say is he's a recovering Pharisee.
Oh, okay. There you go. He's a recovering Pharisee. We will not hold that against him. I think another thing, we got a couple more. We got, Terry, do you have your hand up? Okay.
Oh, mine's quick. I think it was one of our guest speakers one time said, invited somebody, come down to church with us. And the guy said, no, there's too many hypocrites down there. And he said, yeah, but we got room for one more.
Ouch. We'll make room. Scoot over. Yes, sir.
People aren't the standard.
People what?
Are not the standard. God is the standard.
Oh, yes.
So when
yes,
we're
yes.
part of the church, we're aspiring, we're trying,
Yes.
we're laboring to be more like God, not like people.
Around us in the world.
So when we start, when we let the fact that there are struggling people around us affect our decision to go or to stay, and I'm speaking, kind of firsthand on this, then we've lost focus of that which truly matters. Yeah. This isn't a where we're coming in and we're all pretending like we all got it. We got everything together. Yeah, because none of us do. I can tell you firsthand that I'm a hypocrite. Not by choice. I mean, I don't want to be a hypocrite, but so many times in my life I find myself saying one thing and then doing another. And it may be something personal, and not that something that somebody can see, but yeah. So
we got Debbie and Brian and Carrie Ann and almost feel like an auctioneer here.
Yeah, that's a lot. I think maybe something helpful to add to this whole discussion is that a lot of these questions, they sound very intellectual, but sometimes they're coming from an emotional place. Sometimes it may be a good opportunity to use these questions as a way to connect with people emotionally, like, hey, were you ever hurt by a Christian? Because that could be why they're asking this question, right? They may have had somebody just totally do them wrong, or, why is so much evil in the world? Well, they may not be necessarily looking for the philosophical C.S. Lewis answer, right? They may just be needing somebody to listen to their pain. They may have lost a child, or had some tragedy happen or something like that. So that's another thing to keep in mind with these questions.
Carrie Ann, I think. I don't know who was first. Okay, Debbie.
It's like so does it make sense?
Yes. Yes. Very good. So I'll follow up on that one here in a minute. Carrie Ann.
I've heard this many times and can't help but to think of what Paul said in Romans 8:38 when he gives this whole list of things that can't separate us from the love of God. And then I think, well, why would you let a human get in your way?
Yeah.
If it says that death, not life, not death, not angels, all these things, but yet Joe, because he's a hypocrite, is going to keep me from the love of God. Doesn't make much sense.
True. The one thing that I thought about, who in here has worked outside the home? Maybe some ladies have or haven't, but that's okay if you've worked outside the home. Okay, and we're not criticizing anybody. Question: in any place that you've ever worked, was there one hypocrite, but you got up and went to work, didn't you? Who has attended school? Let's hope. Don't cheat there. 5th grade, I graduated after 4 tries. So, question, any hypocrites in school? But you went, didn't you? But there's hypocrites down there at that church, and I'm not going to go. So it's hypocritical even in that analysis. So I think sometimes it is that excuse. So if you walked into a gym, you saw a bunch of people who were in shape, but you saw a few people that are a little bit overweight. Would you say, I'm not going there? That gym's not worth going. Did you see the people in there? You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. Why? Think about it. The person that just walked in 5 minutes ahead of you before you saw them, maybe they just started their routine, their exercise routine. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they're just getting started on their journey. So you wouldn't do that. And the people, maybe they're lean and fit and all this kind of stuff. Maybe they're sitting over there just sort of, messing around, not doing anything. So, you got to think it's the same way about the church. If you walk in and say, oh, hypocrites, you don't know where anybody is. And this may sort of speak a little bit to what Brian's saying. I see you people twice a week. But I can't pretend I know what's going on in every aspect of your life, what's going on in your head, what's going on in your heart. So I can't second judge that. God knows, but I don't. So we've got to have, I think even within the body, a good thought, like I trust people in the people sitting here, I trust you. And I'm going to always think the best of you. Because if I can't trust the people in here and I can't think the best of the people in here, there's nobody I can do that with. And so I think if anything, it's just the opposite. I'm going to come here because there may be hypocrites, but maybe I'm one too. Maybe there are people that are sincere about wrong things, but maybe I'm sincere, you get the idea. We need to come here to enrich and lift up, to take ourselves out of the world and be refreshed. So, let's make sure that if someone says that, we take advantage of saying, look, in the within the church, you're going to run into a variety of people, but we're trying to get better each and every day. So, I think that's important. All right, so we have 8 minutes. I knew you guys were good question answers. So guess what? Okay. So I've got just a few more. I've got a whole bunch more questions, but it's okay. We'll see how we do here. Okay. So did you guys think of any? Any objections? Savannah.
I had a friend in high school who actually thought about following me to church and talking about it, but she stopped and went back whenever she asked, what about my family? What about mom and dad? What about the people who've already died? Sorry, I don't know. So you're saying they're going to hell? I can't say, but you're saying that I have to work on myself, and all of my other family, all of my friends that believe in Hindu, they're not going to heaven. I didn't really know how to respond to her.
That's a tough one. Any thoughts about, so someone comes to you and says, hey, what about my family? What's going to happen with them? We got John back here, please.
I struggle with that one. I struggle with that one a lot, because I lost my dad at a very early age. So I guess my response to them was, I'm going to bank on the grace of God because he's the ultimate judge, all right? And he's going to...
He's going to do what he wills.
Yeah, I'm not the one who's going to decide that. But, at this point here, here's this lifeboat for you, and maybe God's going to, throw him a life preserver. I don't know. But we have to bank on grace at that point. That's the only way I can respond to that.
Yes, so that's a good question. We got 5 minutes. So that's a good question. So I think, Gail, go ahead. Sorry, I just didn't see you.
That's okay. I was just going to say that as gently as you can say this, that if your family wasn't saved, do you really honestly believe they would want you to be in a place of torment, they would do anything for you to be with God.
Yes, exactly. That was my thought. Sort of coupled with what John said, we're not God. I mean, if you look at Jesus and the thief on the cross, Jesus had the prerogative to do what he wanted to do. Now, Jesus is not here, so he's not going to tell us what we're going to do. We have to follow the Bible, right? That's pretty simple. So we're not the judge. But I think another thing that's important to me, I would think if my father made a mistake, would he want me to make the same mistake? No, he wouldn't. He would want me to correct. He would want me to do something different so it would be a better outcome for me. If my mother did something wrong, what would she do? I hope my son makes that same mistake. No, that's not how it would be. So even though maybe this individual's parents may, I'm not God, be condemned, if they knew that, what would they tell her daughter or their daughter or son? Don't do this, do that. So you can't control the past and you're not God, but you can move forward with your own life. Randy, we got a... Okay. Oh, Rachel, I missed you. So we'll go to Rachel first. Pardon me, ma'am.
Luke 18:26 says, "Those who heard it said, 'Then who can be saved?' And he said, 'What is impossible with man is possible with God.' And Peter said, 'See, we have left our homes and followed you.'"
And there you have it. It is possible with God. So we got to leave it in his hands. Sort of like what you and John are talking about, some similar concepts there. Very good. Thank you. And?
Much the same, just I don't know who goes to heaven and who goes to hell. God makes that determination, but I still have the responsibility to make sure that I and my family go to heaven.
Yeah, of course. Yes, you need to do the best that you can with what you have here. And, I mean, that's all you can do. Very good, very good. We have 3 minutes. All right, anything else? I have a couple of questions, several, but we'll go through. All right, so we have 2 minutes. So how is it just to punish someone for our sins? What kind of God is that says, Jesus, it's time, you're going to go down there? Oh yeah, that's not going to be a problem. These guys are all pristine, clean. I won't have to get on a cross because they don't sin. No. That's not the case. How's it just to punish someone else for our sins? See, Jesus claimed to be God, right? Which means we've sinned just as much against him as we have God the Father, right? But that means Jesus is our judge too. Not only did he die for us, he's our sacrifice, but he's also our judge, right? Not just some random guy that chose to be punished. So when Jesus volunteered to die for us, he knew what was coming. And it was like the judge himself in the court said, hey, I'll take his place on death row. So that's how you could sort of look at that one. Just some thoughts as you come across a few ideas. We only have a few minutes. What if my good deeds outweigh my bad? Can God let me into heaven then? Let's say I've never committed a single crime, and I went down to the grocery store and I was hungry and I took a grape, one grape, not a whole vine, not a package, one grape, and they caught me. Oh, Joe, you've been so good, that's not a problem. No, I don't think they'll throw me in jail. But did I do something wrong? What about somebody that's never done anything wrong? They helped the old ladies across the street. They served in the Boy Scout troop. You get the idea. Really good. And they murdered somebody. Well, they did all this good stuff, right? Surely that outweighs the person the person that I killed, right? No, it's based on individual situations. So, as we finish up, go ahead and hit the button. court of law today, if someone does hundreds of good deeds throughout his lifetime but only commits one murder, do those good deeds mean he doesn't have to pay the penalty for murder? Nope. So maybe that would be a way that you could look at that one. Thank you very much. Like I said, been a wonderful quarter. I hope it's been helpful. Brian has the last say on Sunday, and then we will have a singing and then move into the quarter. I will say there's 3 adult classes. Please sign up in the back. Make sure you go ahead and get that down so we can get the numbers. And also, as you do so, we can get the books and materials for you. So please sign up on one of the 3. And not all 3 of them. There's some people you got to keep an eye on that will try to jump around in the classes. I'm not going to mention any names. Thank you very much.